Hey everybody, Rob here from sunny Ohio. It is midway through March, and yes, it is still 30 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing. But I'm really excited to announce that Average at Best will be bringing you exclusive coverage from the Tournament of Champions. That's right, all week, every day, we are going to be here at the TOC, bringing you interviews, vlogs, live updates, really anything that we can possibly give you. I'm super excited about this opportunity. We got the PTQ going on right now. It's 9 o'clock exactly. They just started. Let's go ahead and get in there and check it out. Everybody, I'm here to give you an update after 3 games. Nick Pate is steadily in first with a clean 800 series there, average 260 something the first 3. And then he just shot 230 game 4. We also have J.R. Raymond in the cut, so is Brandon Novak and AJ Chapman. So those are some notable names who are in the top 10 here at PTQ. Some other notable names, Brad Miller right now is potentially going to go off the sheet for 277. He was kind of middle of the pack, had a tough few games, but this could definitely put him back into contention. Yeah, we're going to keep watching the scores, keep watching the players, and keep updating as we go.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Rob and Josh here from Average at Best, and I just wanted to cut in real quick and just let you guys know that we have a Patreon account now.
As you know, we're 2 college students and we don't make a lot of money off of YouTube, so this is just a way to support us. It costs as much as a cup of coffee every month, and it's a way for us to get more direct communication with everybody, to answer your questions, your comments, your concerns, and for us to also provide you some early exclusive content on the channel.
Yeah, it's never required, but we do really appreciate it if you guys want to go down there. It's going to be in the description down below. Yeah, we really appreciate it if you guys want to stop by and hopefully support the channel a little bit more. Now onto the video.
Okay, so obviously, AJ, you led the PTQ today. What was your plan? What did you do to lead the PTQ today?
This one is obviously tough. The field is super stacked. It's all regional titleists, so coming in, you just have to accept that everybody here is a good bowler, and you just got to kind of be patient and make it through. That was my big thing today, was patience. So I tried to make sure to take one shot at a time and just, focus on me. Don't let the things that I can't control bug me. So I was staying in control of my own stuff today was what definitely helped.
Okay. Was there anything specific with ball motion, with stuff you were doing with your hand? I saw you were pretty far left with reactive for most of the day.
Yeah. I threw urethane the first two. They're obviously, pretty flat to start, and urethane's been good historically in this building. So always look at that, especially on medium patterns, just to kind of blend out the back end. And then I got the transition. It made it easy for me, too. I got to throw pretty much my two favorite balls after I got out of the urethane balls. So I threw a one for a little bit, and then I threw the web pearl the last 3 or 4 games. And when I get into those balls, I have, pretty much unlimited confidence. So when I can get into them, it definitely helps it easier transition-wise.
Okay. And then how will you use the experience of bowling the PTQ today to hopefully give you an advantage going into the actual TOC qualifier?
Pretty similar, bowling the same field. The main field's even better than the PTQ field is, because it's all the champions and all the guys that get out today. So I think if I can just kind of keep the mindset of staying patient, taking it one shot at a time, and just controlling what I can control, I think that'll help me bowl well this week.
Okay, well, good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bowling. So, Cody, obviously today you were the cut number, and after the first game, things weren't looking too good.
No.
So, walk me through that. What really was the transition today from the first game to kind of making a run at it those last few?
Well, so unfortunately, I came into this morning without a thumb that I normally use, and unfortunately, I left it in Detroit, so didn't have that this morning. So, luckily, John Sullivan, Sully, on the truck was able to. He switched over like 8 of my bowling balls, so I had 8 balls for today, and that was it, which, for us guys out here, that's not a lot. But yeah, game 1, I was trying to fight the thumb. I missed the head pin 5 times because I couldn't clear it. Just fighting that and just getting my feet under me. So shot 140, pretty rough spot. Went back in like the 8th frame of game 1, did some work on the thumb to make it bigger just so I could get out of it, just to clear it. And luckily, I threw one ball the last 7 games, matched up pretty well, and 172 over, so 220 over for 7 games, and just got lucky, man. Sometimes you find it, and it was just one of those days.
Yeah. So was there anything specific today that you did in terms of lane play with your ball motion, with your release, or was it just kind of figuring out as the day went on?
So just from hearing from a lot of the guys, I've never bowled the TOC before. Obviously, I never regional title until last year. So I've never bowled here, but I know a lot of guys say it's really good to slow hook it in this building. And I had AJ Chapman to my right kind of doing the same thing. I think he led. So just watching him and then knowing that I can kind of create the same shapes that he does, even though his rev rate's a little higher, I just throw it a little slower than him. So just kind of being able to do that the last 7 games really fit what I like to do. So
I saw last week you placed 5th, just barely missing out on the cut. Is there anything you can do to kind of draw from that experience? I saw you had a really good last game to lap 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
And
I mean, last week's a huge stepping stone. I've bowled some tour events for the last 5 or 6 years, like since 2016, 2017, and I've had some success here and there. But last week was really, with no match play, no nothing like that, and to be able to keep up the scoring pace out here with those guys that strike a lot, just kind of gave me a lot of confidence knowing I can compete out here. So just kind of carrying that into every week, knowing that it's capable is always good. So
what can you take from today and from your experience of last week to kind of give yourself hopefully an edge into qualifying here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously like last week, everything felt good. I threw it really good and I matched up pretty well. And then this week kind of dealt with some adversity this morning. So dealing with the adversity and kind of getting through that and then finding a way to sneak into this cut. It's a 64-person field. They're taking the top 24 and 17 people make the show. I finished fifth last week and missed the show by 1 spot. If I finish 5th this week, I'm not going to miss the show. So that's kind of the goal. And, my whole goal this season was to get into the top 50 for points so I don't have to bowl the PTQs for next year. This being a major, the points are huge. So just getting into the field is a huge advantage. And now it's just kind of the same mindset I've had every week when I make it through is just be as aggressive as possible and get as many points as possible. So that's the plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the interview. Good luck the rest of
Absolutely.
the week. And we'll be watching you out there.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so we're here with Brad Miller. Brad, you were the second person in the cut line at the PTQ this morning. How did that go?
So it started off rough. I was actually kind of buried. There were 51 total people, and I was like 45th or something after a couple games, and it was not going well. I was in and out of some thoughts and some different ways of throwing it, and then I finally I got a couple words of advice from a couple different people, and I finally was able to kind of dial something in. Game 6, I shoot 277. Game 7, I shoot 224. Game 8, I shoot 254 to get in by just a couple of sticks. It wasn't much. And this tournament's a big tournament. It's a lot of money, and it's the biggest major. It's a TOC. And the past couple of years, I haven't bowled in it. So this year, I get to bowl, and I'm very happy.
Yeah. So obviously you had, like you said, you had that 270, 220, 250. How did that feel just kind of putting it together there at the end and executing and just the relief of like, I did it, I'm in. How did that feel?
Yeah, so this year I've had a hard time getting into like that moment, where it's just all flowing. You're just doing what you're not thinking too much. And, the past like 4 or 5 weeks, I've really been trying to like put together like a good game plan. Like, all right, maybe I should throw it like this, maybe I should throw it like that. And I couldn't quite hone it in. It's like I'm doing one thing and then I'm doing another thing. I'm doing one thing and then I'm doing another thing. So I started that off at the beginning. And then the last 3 games, I still threw some mediocre shots. I still, wasn't 100% execution every time, but I got the right ball in my hand, and I was able to get in the right part of the lane, and I was able to create the right ball motion. Now, I haven't been able to do that for 5 weeks. It's like incredible. It's like I've done it a lot in my life, but as we stand now, the past 4 weeks, it's like it's not with me. It's like I have to go back and either remember or learn new or, something like that. So those 3 games, it felt like I was actually in it. Like I was doing what I needed to do to be out here, Yeah. So, yeah, it feels amazing.
Yeah, you would say it was like the first time all year that you feel like everything kind of was put together, so to speak?
100%. I mean, and you can tell because of the way the pins fall. A lot of times you can hit the pocket all day long, but if the angles aren't correct, if the ball's not correct, if all the geometry's not correct, it's going to plaque a 10, you're going to shoot 190. So even though the execution's good, your score's not going to be great. And then there's other times where your execution isn't super great, but then you get some breaks, and then you can, so I was kind of on both of those ends. I have yet to actually feel like I'm doing everything correct. And going into the last game, I made a ball change in the 220, and I threw a 4-bagger. And then going into the 8th game was actually the game where I felt great. Like, all right, I'm zoned in, I'm dialed in. At this point, I don't care if I don't make it. You know, if I happen to bowl a bad game and I drop out, whatever. I got myself back into it. We're trying to improve. That's all we're doing here. Improve your way into a win. You know, you got to improve before, you know. So as long as you're focusing on that, and then I started off with the front 7. And it's like, there's something to that. I was confident, you know. It's the first time I've been confident. And then next thing you know, I got front 7. Yeah, it's weird how the bowling the bowling game works like that. You know, you could do it your whole life and still be lost. It's like, what? And then just slowly it comes back, and then 2 weeks later you're a completely different bowler than you were, you know. So yeah, it was a roller coaster for sure, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So how will you take everything that happened from this morning and hopefully build on that and have a solid showing here at the rest of the week at the TOC and potentially make a run at another TV show? You know, they're taking 17 this week, and that's, you know, out of 64, leaves you a pretty good shot to give it a run.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I just showed up and practiced, and after bowling the 8 games of like some intense focus, that was the best focus I've been able to get into all year. So it's like, coming off of that, there's so much to build off of. Like, I finally have a little bit of momentum. You know, like the stock, once it kind of jumps and people get excited, it's like, okay, bye, you know. So I'm on that ride up right now. So you just have to make sure you let yourself ride up, you know, don't get in your own way. And so those 3 things, or those couple things that I did those last 3 games, I'm just going to keep doing them. You know, I'm not going to, before it's like I would find the right way to throw it, and then on the next shot I just wasn't totally committed. Well, finally I had something good happen to switch the momentum. Boom, I'm confident. Something good's happened. Well, now I'm finally throwing them good enough to where, like, things are happening. So when things if they start to tail off a little bit, I'm not going to let it tail off too much, because I know I'm trending up. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to be like this, but I got to let it go up. I got to make sure I'm at my best. I'm sleeping well. I'm talking to my ball reps correctly. I'm being nice to myself. I'm, you know, just making the right moves, and I'm staying in the game. You know, don't think about nothing negative. If you wrap a 2 around a 10 on a split, if you big 4 on a big moment, all these things that are going to happen to get you to trend back downwards, I'm going to X them, and then make sure we're only trending upwards.
Yeah.
And then, you know, hopefully that'll last throughout the season.
Well, that was a great, like, in-depth dive into really the mental, the ups and downs, and how you have to kind of just ride the swing up. You know, you can't force it, you can't manifest it. It just has to happen, and you have to just let it happen.
I've seen so many times, and personally, you know, everyone's so hard on themselves, especially on a game that's so hard, to where you try and be perfect, you try and be perfect, you try and be perfect. It's not working, but then you figure it out a little bit, and you look at the standings, and you're about middle of the pack, and then you hit a good pair, and then you're 20th, and the whole day hasn't been great, but now you're 20th. And it's like, all right, we're 20th, we're all right. So then next thing you know, a couple other things happen, maybe bad, good game, whatever, hit another good pair, now you're 17th. But you're learning as you go. It's like, every time you bowl a bad game, or every time you lose your look, you're learning how to adjust in real time. You get done with the game, you go to a better pair, you shoot it, but next time you go to a bad pair again, you know you've learned what to do, or what not to do at least. So not getting in your own way, just take the ebbs and flows. The ebbs you learn, the flows you ride. So no getting down on ourselves, no nothing. I don't care. You know, if it's $140, $160, whatever, if you take out of it that you learn something, and then the next thing you know, you'll be in like 10th place, and you're like, wow, I got a chance. And then you have a chance to make a show, you put your focus on, and then that's how good things happen. They don't just happen. You know, you got to stair-step your way into it, and then all of a sudden you find yourself on a Sunday bowling for a title, and you're like, I'm here. And a week ago, I didn't think, you know, it's kind of like that. Yeah. So that's my plan, you know, it's just stay in game by game, communicate well, do what I got to do, and just let whatever happens.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I wish you good luck the rest of the way out. And obviously, all of us will be watching and cheering you on. So hopefully,
you, for showing up and making content, man.
Yeah, I you know, if I had to take an over/under for both you and Kyle making the 17, I'm taking the over. Both you guys are making it. All right.
All right.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Brad.
And we're done with the PTQ here in Fairlawn. My goodness, what a finish. Brad Miller throwing a 253 that final game to lap both Packy, Cody, and Zach Tackett. And then Cody barely hanging on to the cut. I'll go ahead and put the scores right up over here, as you can see. Man, it got really, really close there towards the end. So huge kudos to Brad Miller there for gutting it out and shooting a big game that last game. And then also Cody, who he hung in there. I mean, he shot a 219. He thought he was out, but he stayed in. And AJ Chapman, who just was dialed in all day. I mean, he stayed left and just rolled the rock, and it kept striking. So really, really exciting start to the Tournament of Champions here, and I'm really excited to get content the rest of this week. So thank you, everybody, for watching, liking, subscribing. I'm so excited for this week. Be sure to check out the Patreon, the Instagram, all of our social medias down below. Thank you so much to the PBA, to Tom Clark, for hooking us up with media press this week. I'll see all you guys tomorrow for day 1 of qualifying at the Tournament of Champions. Peace out.